Hey, welcome back. Oh, the first day I recorded this, I said, should I say welcome back to Mario? Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. Maybe the first day of every week, I'll say welcome back to Mario. I'll do that. Okay. Okay, I said I wasn't gonna talk too much about... I shouldn't have hit that guy. I'm not paying attention. Oh, that's pretty good. I wasn't going to talk any more about politics. I just wanted to do one thing. And then I have another thing to talk about. I wanted to read something. After I kill these guys, maybe. This is in Hamilton. This is where I heard it. There needs to be more stuff like Hamilton because it's a good teaching tool. Like, I didn't know any of this stuff about federalism and like School of Rock, but for adults, kind of. I'm gonna read this. Washington's farewell address. This is in Hamilton. But just listen to this and try not to get chills. I mean, I'm not gonna do a good job of reading it, but though in reviewing the incidents of my administration, I am unconscious of intentional error. I am nevertheless too sensible of my defects not to think it probable that I may have committed many errors. Whatever they may be, I fervently beseech the Almighty to avert or mitigate the evils to which they may tend. I shall also carry with me the hope that my country will never cease to view them with indulgence, and that, after 45 years of my life dedicated to its service, with an upright zeal, the faults of incompetent abilities will be consigned to oblivion, as myself must soon be, to the mansions of rest. That's just beautiful. That's what we want. That's what we all want. And was he really 45 when he left the presidency? He seems so old with this wig and everything. Where did he go? I lost him. Am I supposed to fight that guy? It feels like I'm taking a long time to play this game. Is that right? Am I like just kind of wandering around too much? I know it's hard to compare anybody to Washington, but that's what we want. That's what I want. In the beginning, he's a little bit like hedging. He's saying, what was the first line? And reviewing the incidents of I am unconscious of intentional error. He's like, well, I didn't mean to do anything bad. But maybe I might have made one or two mistakes. Imagine Trump saying like this in his concession speech or whatever. I mean, I know it's a concession speech is different than a farewell address, but this one line from Washington makes me like him so much more. He got it. Like, he understood America. He understood like what it needed to be, even if he wasn't perfect. Oh, I need to do that thing with the flower box. Okay, I should really talk about something else. Not really, and I'm not making any progress today. Here comes the judgeable. And I guess one last thing I was just thinking about. Because Biden was giving a couple speeches, like, he's giving speeches like he knows he's gonna win. He's not saying, like, I won, but he's like, this is what we're gonna have to do the next 4 years when I'm president. This is how we're gonna have to act, or like how we're gonna deal with this situation. Kind of like saying, I'm president now, so this is how we have to be. He's trying to be like a good president, like Washington, and he's saying, we're not red America, we're not blue America, we're United States of America. And it works for me, because even if it does just come across as like a politician saying what politicians say, it's nice to have that again after having 4 years of someone of a politician saying something that no politician says or should ever say. Like, this election is rigged and I'm gonna take it to the Supreme Court. I think you're supposed to do this. Just fight all these guys. I got a little off track with Washington. Today I was going to talk about my dad. He tested positive for the coronavirus on Sunday. Today's Thursday. This would have been the first thing I would have talked about if I maybe recorded this on like Monday or Tuesday, because I was really worried about it. Maybe I should still be worried about it, but I talked to the therapist yesterday and she was like, don't worry about it, just hope for the best. That was a little bit surprising to me. For some reason I thought the healthier thing would be, well, like, I'm not ready for him to die, so I need to be prepared for that, right? And she's like, nah, don't think about it. Can I get him? Go. Am I supposed to? Oh, maybe I'm supposed to try to go this way. 32,000 troops in New York Harbor. Get him. I got him. Ooh. When they surround the troops. I was thinking about it like this on Monday. Well, he has symptoms, which is bad. It would be nice if he was asymptomatic, but he has a cough and a fever. And he's 60 years old. So on Sunday, what I was thinking about was like, well, there's a 2% chance. In 3 weeks from now, my dad will be dead. And I didn't really have to deal with that. I mean, maybe before this had happened, there was also a 2% chance that like he would be struck by lightning or something, or get hit by a car. But there's a very real chance, 2%. It's not a very big chance. Doesn't have a pre-existing condition. But this happens fast. People get sick, their lungs get like crinkled up and they can't breathe, and then they die in their sleep. And one day you don't wake up. And one day my mom could call me and just be like, yeah, your dad died yesterday. What could happen? There's a 2% chance. And I'm not ready for that. So part of me thought, well, wouldn't it be healthier to try to prepare for that before it happens? And the therapist basically said no. which I didn't. Wait. Oh, they took all my items. Uh-oh. Rise up. Rise up. I need Gino. Gotta make sure I heal. I don't want to have to do this all over again. Maybe I should do a quick save right now. Save state. Oh, I don't have any items. Oh, so I need to save my HP reins. This is tense. Okay, you use HP rain. Rise up, rise up. So I was thinking about it like this on Monday. Obviously if my dad dies, I'll be sad because he's my dad. And he's like the only person who cares about me in the whole world, so. Right now my life's kind of okay. It's not as bad as it was a couple months ago where I was having a really hard time at work and I was kind of depressed. I'm not really there anymore because work's been a little bit easier. And I feel like I have a little bit more hope about finding a better job eventually than I did like 4 months ago or whatever. I have no hope for myself. I don't. Even though I just said I did about the job. But like for myself and my life, I don't have much hope that I'll ever think that my life is worth living. If there's any meaning for it or whatever. But my parents do. And I know they do. They want me to have a good life, and they have hope that I will, or even that I am having a good life. Or that I like my life, or whatever. So I don't have any hope for myself, but they do. So if they die, my hope kind of dies. The hope in my life. Because I'm kind of like... I don't know, it doesn't make sense, but like I do kind of... I feel their hope, and I could feel it like radiating, and I can kind of feel like the warmth of it, I guess, and it's keeping me warm. But without it, it's like I'll freeze and die. Does that make sense? Rise up. When you live in OTDs, you rise up. Do I still have to fight him? Again? I don't remember what you're supposed to do here. Might have to look at the walkthrough. Do this again? Oh, no. I got the bomb. I'm supposed to use that bomb for something. Oh, here we go. Is that it for today? Oh yeah, I'm over. Okay, so let's check 538 and see what the update is. So, it's 7:30 on Thursday. I'm just looking at this election stuff and seeing what they're saying. Okay, let's read the updates. There's a couple updates. There's a lot of updates. Anything interesting? They're talking about Trump just made a speech and it was pretty unhinged. I didn't see it, but they're saying it's pretty crazy. It's like, well, it's like all his other ones where he's like, it's rigged and stuff. Trump just finished his speech and he made baseless claims that voter fraud will likely cost him the 2020 election. There's no evidence that shows that's the case. There are now 19,000 votes left to count in Georgia. If I'm doing my math right, Biden needs to win them by 3,600 or 19%. But that's to win it by one vote. He needs to win by more than one vote. They're going to do a recount. Here in Pennsylvania, Trump's margin continues to narrow. The ballot counts updating. His lead now stands at 64,000 votes on its own. Philadelphia should have something about 60,000 ballots. And the Pittsburgh estimated less than an hour ago that there were 255,000 ballots still outstanding. But that's, I don't know. They keep saying, well, he's going to win Pennsylvania, but he needs to make up 64,000 votes in 2,500. 250,000. Rise up, rise up. Anything else? Trump repeatedly claimed in his speech tonight that his campaign representatives were not being given access to observe the vote counting process, and that they've had to sue in order to have people watch. First of all, the vote counting process is always bipartisan, and campaign observers are allowed to witness it. Second of all, his lawsuits weren't about being allowed to observe, because again, they are and have been. They're about how close the observers able to stand. The lawsuit in Michigan was thrown out, and Pennsylvania was dismayed today after both sides agreed to the number of observers. This is an example of President Trump teaching us about our democracy. I had no idea that there were these things called, like, well, you can have partisan observers to the vote count, which actually makes sense. It's kind of interesting because a partisan observer is going to be more likely to call out something that they see as wrong. So it's actually kind of a good thing to say, like, well, we'll have some people go there and they can just watch and make sure they're doing it right. And so Trump is kind of trying to exploit that loophole there, where he's saying, we did have an observer in Pennsylvania looking at the ballots, but they didn't let him come close enough. I was actually looking at the court case, and it was saying there were like barriers because of COVID that kept them 12 feet away or 15 feet away from the tables or whatever. And so the guy who testified was that guy who was too far away, and he was saying, like, the barriers kept me too far away, so I couldn't see if there were secrecy ballots, or envelopes, which is the envelope that keeps the naked ballots in, so you can't see who someone voted for, and it keeps it like contained. So if election people get naked ballots, they're supposed to not count them, because I don't know, I guess anything could happen outside of the ballots. Only the people who are allowed to open the envelopes are allowed to open it. So if anybody else opened it, then they have to be kind of thrown out, I think. So the partisan observers are there to say, if they see something, they're like, hey, you're not supposed to be able to do that. It's kind of cool. I didn't know that was a thing. So thanks to Trump, I'm learning more every day about democracy. It's interesting. But it doesn't seem like... The thing is, like, they keep talking about... like, there's dead people voting, and there's fraud, and these... The only thing that could affect the election is if somehow Joe Biden was directing his campaign to commit fraud, because if there was fraud in the election, the worst thing that would happen is like they would investigate it and they would say, okay, maybe like this one like there was like an idiot or something in the election office, like that's possible. Some like kid who's like, I want Biden to win, so I'm going to steal 100 votes or 1,000 votes. That's possible, but then that kid would get thrown in jail for like, because it's a federal crime, for like at least 10 years or something, and those votes would be counted for Trump, and then that would be it. So he would get like 1,000 votes, but none of these states are really that close. Or like, is it possible that someone could be changing 50,000 votes or 100,000 votes? It doesn't seem like that would be possible without it being obvious. And even if that did happen, each state controls their own elections. So the worst thing that could happen is like one state had massive voter fraud. But this election probably is not going to come down to one state. It's going to come down to multiple states. So something that's never happened before in the history of our election, like a massive voter fraud in a state, would have to happen multiple times. Doesn't seem likely. But it's interesting. We're learning every day new things. I just talked for a long time, so is there another update? That's something I've talked about before. It's like the whole idea of people can vote twice. I mean, who's going to risk 10 years in prison to vote 2 times for Joe Biden? It doesn't make any sense. Like, oh, my dad died and I got his ballot, so I'm going to cast 2 ballots for Joe Biden. Okay, if we catch you, you're going to go to prison and have to pay like $500,000 in fines. Do you really want to do that? To vote twice for Joe Biden? It might happen like a couple times, and it's mostly by accident. But it's not going to be 10,000 people doing that. It doesn't happen. And if it does, then I will admit it. But I haven't seen any reports of it or anything, so see you tomorrow.